Okay, so now we're going to get into the job here. Here's the rear end of the car. Got the exhaust that comes down. You can see on the rear wheels how the axle connects in to this center housing, and that's your rear differential housing. And there's fluid in there that you're going to want to be changing about every 80,000 miles is what Mercedes service manual recommends. I don't think that this one has ever been changed, so we'll see how this one goes. But there's your drain plug on one side, and then your fill plug is on the other side right here. There's your fill plug. I sprayed a little bit of that WD-40 on there just to make it a little easier taking the bolts out. The first things first, we're going to crack this fill plug. We're going to crack the fill plug on this side so we know that we can definitely put more fluid in. If we drain this thing out and we can't open that fill plug up, then we're going to be in trouble. So get that fill plug open first, and then we're going to open up the drain plug and drain out all the fluid. You're going to need a 14mm hex or an Allen key. You can get an Allen key too, will work, but I got this at the store. It's a 14mm ratchet attachment, and I picked up some brand new drain plugs and a drain plug and a fill plug for this rear differential. They're pretty cheap, a couple bucks on FCP Euro. Just decided to get brand new bolts and not reuse the old ones. So 14mm hex to fit these properly. It's sort of tough to get the thing seated in there properly. You just got to make sure that thing is seated all the way before you start cranking it. You don't want to strip that bolt. So just kind of work it in there with your hand. You might be able to get a extension on there and tap it with a hammer so it just seats all the way. This extension in there. And you want to take a hammer, a small hammer or something, and just give it a little tap. Make sure that socket or that hex is seated properly all the way in there. Tougher than you would expect. It helps to use a breaker bar for sure. I highly recommend using a breaker bar. There you go. You guys can see right there, just got the bolt out. And it stayed on the hook. Alright guys, so here's the drain plug right here. You slip this 14mm in there, just like that. It's kind of tight. You can just use the back of a hammer or the end of a hammer and just kind of tap it in there so it's seated all the way before you crank it. So you guys can see here we got this little reservoir thing with the funnel. It's really handy. You can get these things online on Amazon or at your local AutoZone store. We're going to position this underneath of the rear differential so we can drain it right in there. And this little thing raises up and down, so it makes it really nice and easy. You don't have to worry about spilling oil everywhere. You definitely need a breaker bar for this, I would say. There we go. There you go. Looks pretty dirty. So you guys want to let that drain all the way. You can see it's still dripping out a little bit here. So we just let it sit for a little bit. We just finished draining the rear differential fluid. As you can see here, here's the hole there for the drain bolt. Put it on the little hex socket. You're going to want to torque this to 36 foot-pounds of torque, so just right there. Alright guys, so now we've got everything all cleaned off under here. We've got the drain bolt back in there and we torqued it down to spec, 36 foot-pounds of torque on that. So over here on this side you can kind of see, so here's our fill hole right there. That's where we're going to be putting in the new oil. Alright guys, so we're going to be using this differential fluid here. This is 75W90 gear oil. This is 1 quart, 946 milliliters. For this particular model car, this is a 2009 C300 4Matic. We need 1 liter for this rear differential. 1 liter has 1,000 milliliters, and this is at 946. So we're going to be using 1 full one of these, plus a little additional of another one. I clipped the top off already. This is ready to pour right in. Just stick it right in that fill hole and pour all this stuff in. Give you guys a better view here of what's going on. So as you can see here, I finished filling it up there, and I put a little bit too much oil in there, a little too much fluid, but that's okay. We'll just leave the fill plug off and let whatever excess is in there drain out, and the level will be good after that. So we're going to give this a little bit of time to just let the excess seep out, and then reinstall the fill plug, and then we'll be good. All right guys, so we just finished draining out, letting the excess seep out of there. There's still a little bit dripping, but we're going to install the fill plug now. Nothing complicated to it. Just get the fill plug on your, I like to put it on the hex tool or whatever, and then I can just slip it right in there and start hand tightening it. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then they send a notice afterwards, but they said this one got brakes.